All right, guys. So welcome back to Our Own Canon, a podcast about Asian Americans and our relationship to art, in an effort to build our own canon. Except today, we're doing something a little different,
You listed
arguably
this
a little more fun.
podcast as educational, right?
No, not for a while. It's been entertaining for a hot minute.
Wonderful. Well, I consider this to be highly educational, actually.
All right, so if you guys didn't know, if you guys didn't know, the first birthday of our podcast is somewhere in this general vicinity.
It's
um,
sometime
I-
around here.
we were hoping to have the episode out, or at least I was having it out by the time our podcast birthday came around. But honestly, I don't I don't think that's happening. So just like in general, happy 1 year birthday for our own canon. You're doing
Yay!
great. You're doing great.
Honestly, this has been such a crazy year for both of us, so we really appreciate all of the support that we've been getting so far on this. I know that, we know that it's been inconsistent and it's been like kind of hectic, but we're so glad that y'all are here hanging out with us and sharing this with us. And like, we couldn't be more grateful to have this in our lives because
Yeah, especially
it
the
is a little piece of crazy that like we get a little bit of control over.
yeah. But this time, so we decided for our 1 year anniversary birthday of the podcast that we would do something extra crazy than what we normally do.
Oh, God.
So let's today throw out all the academic aspects of our own canon and do something a little fun. So, for longtime listeners of the podcast, you may know that when Yeji sees a hot woman, she can get very excited.
It's my entire personality
Yeah,
is reacting and looking at hot women.
I have found it very consistent that I can get Yeji to yell "mommy" very loud if I just show her an image of a hot woman. It's oddly
Probably.
consistent.
Yeah, the chances are very high.
But also, if anyone goes back to the Fruits Basket episode, we'll also remember that we had a very interesting conversation about Yuki talking about Toru as his mother figure. And right when we finished recording that episode, I like messaged Yeji and I was like, Yeji, I need you to explain the difference between a mommy and a mother figure.
It's a very academic difference, though. Like, I got very deep into my analyzation of this.
And I figured it was such an important distinction that definitions would not suffice. No. We need examples because that's the only way to learn. By showing Yeji a bunch of
Examples.
pictures of a bunch of different hot women and having her tell me whether they're mother or mommy. So here we are
Good.
today.
This is so great. This is so much fun. I'm gonna have so much fun with this. Thank you for doing this for me. It's the podcast birthday, but it also feels like my birthday because
Just anyone who had any respect for us in the past, I'm sorry.
why?
Actually, Yeji's probably more right. Why?
Why?
You should reconsider, especially after watching this episode in its entirety.
Please reconsider.
All right. So I have in front of me a slideshow that Yeji's seeing right now, and I'll have like the images appear on the video format of the podcast that we have on YouTube. So go check it out on there if you don't. But if not, you can also Google like all these characters along as we're talking about them if you listen to the audio version.
Fun
And
little activity.
yeah. And I have she's looking at the PowerPoint right now, and I have about like 20-ish characters. I didn't really count, but about 20-ish characters to go through. Right?
Oh my gosh.
To get
That's great. That's
to-
wonderful.
yes. So we're going to do a very scientific study and truly figure out which characters are mother or mommy. Ready to start?
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, dude, let's get it.
So I decided for the first two, we're gonna start real easy just to get a feel of how we're gonna do this, right? So the first
Okay.
two should not be complicated, but everything after that ratchets up in difficulty.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, so character number one, Rios Morales from Spider-Man Across Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse.
Oh no.
I feel like this one should be easy. You don't look like. You don't
Well,
look like.
yeah, but like she's hot, so that's like. Okay, I feel like I should give a very like brief overview of the difference before we do start, just so that
Okay.
like people can kind of know where my guidelines are. So, first and foremost, moms everywhere, any mother, they're gonna be hot, right? Because just by virtue of having pushed a child out of your vagina, and even women that have just adopted children, like virtuous as fuck equals hot. Like, I don't make the rules.
Okay.
So, like, with Rio Morales, like, she's hot, but her character design is also hot. You know what I mean? Like, they designed her to be pretty. And so I think, like, with that, it's kind of difficult to.
She's such a mother figure.
She is a really great mother figure.
Like, that's her whole
and
thing in the
that-
movie. It's her being
Yeah.
a great mom.
Yes, but would I call her mommy? Absolutely. So.
Wow.
I feel like, okay, because here's the thing, right? Like,
Okay.
when we were talking about the fruits basket thing, like, I would not call Toru mommy the way that I would call Rio Morales mommy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, she's mom in the sense that, like, it really is her entire personality, you know? Like, being a mother figure and a caretaker, that's, like, her whole thing, right? Which I think is why that speech that Yuki gives is so funny and also fascinating because he's right. Like, Toru isn't like, you know, when people say like, oh, mommy, they're trying to, you know, they're like, oh, this person is hot. Like, I consider this character to be fine. You know, I don't think Toru is hot. Like, I would be very weird and out of character for me to call Toru mommy, but like Rio Morales, absolutely, I would call it.
Damn. Okay, we'll see where the train of thought takes us.
Maybe I just have a thing for Latino women. Maybe that's what that is. But like,
I feel like you just have a thing for women in general.
okay, yeah, okay. Can we do like a ratio? Can we do like a percentage, like out of
Okay,
100?
okay.
Okay, so Rio Morales,
Wait.
I'd say
So for
she's
100 is 100's mother or is 100 mommy?
no, like 30% mom, 70% mommy, like
Okay,
that,
okay.
like a ratio. So for Rio Morales, I would probably say like 60%, 65% mommy, 35% mother.
This is
Mom.
objective numbers. This is quantified data.
This is actually very scientific. I just want you guys to know that I'm gonna start breaking this down by the numbers. I'm gonna crunch in my brain.
Everyone does understand that whatever Yeji says is the objective ratio of
Yes.
mother to mommy.
This is gospel.
Okay. So,
You guys don't get a say. I'm sorry.
all right. So this is 65,
65, 35.
65, 35. Okay.
Also, at some point, you guys are probably going to realize that I don't know how to do math. Like, I'm going to say a number for one, and then I'm going to be like, I can't do the mental math to subtract what the actual number is supposed to be.
We left math fields for a reason. We don't need that. We don't need that shit here.
That's also what you're here for, is to check my math.
Dude, I left math. I took stats like 1 year one semester in undergrad, and then I said never again.
Okay, well, I guess that we're both fucked. Like, they're still scientific numbers, but they might not add up to 100.
They are scientific numbers, not mathematical numbers, okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Get that straight.
All right.
Okay.
Who's next?
So I thought that one's going to be an easy mother. I guess I was wrong. But I'm pretty sure the next one's an easy mommy.
Okay.
Shigo from Kim Possible.
Oh, absolutely. That's mommy 100%. Actually, okay,
Oh, wow.
Okay, because here's the thing, though. I have a theory,
Okay.
and this is a good theory, and I believe this to be true for real life as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think villains make good parents.
Why?
So, like Dr. Doofenshmirtz, for example, right? Like
Okay.
people have their villain arcs, and villains like they tend to have hard lives, right? Like they go through hardships. So, but a lot of the times, like when they do have children, they want better for their children than for them to become villains because they know how that villain arc works. So it's almost like they have a better idea of how to like prevent something like that from happening, and to like give their children the loving environment that they were denied when they were young. There's this really great clip of like, there's like this play or musical or something of like the Harry Potter, like a sequel to the Harry Potter books slash movies. It's like an onstage production. I don't know what it's called. I don't know where it's from. But I saw a clip of it where it's like when Harry Potter like hugs his child, it's like he almost doesn't really know what to do, because he's like called a hero, and he's been classified as the good guy for his whole life, and so like he doesn't really know how to actively show up as a good person, because he's just been categorized that way his whole life. But whereas Draco, when his son comes in for a hug, like he gives his son a hug, you know, because he has a very good idea of like what a not loving parent looks like, right? So he looks at his kid and he's like, what would I want, like my damaged self, right? Like if my kid, like if I had gone to my dad for a hug, like what would I have wanted his reaction to be? So with like villains and stuff, I feel like sometimes it's a little bit hard to tell. So going from there, I would say that like Shigo is a solid 95% mommy, 5% mom.
mother.
Like I'm gonna give her a little bit of leeway there just by virtue of her being a villain. But also like she's so fine. Like they did not have to pop off so hard with her character design. But look at her, she's fucking perfect.
I saw someone on someone sent me a TikTok and it was like Gen Z basically got Pavlov dogged into like being attracted to like big titty goth girls.
Dude, no,
because
literally.
of Shigo and Raven.
But also like no, because you look back at like all the cartoons and stuff that we watched growing up, and it's fucking true.
It's kind of real.
Like it's so real. Like I feel like, okay, because here's the thing, right? Because it's like yes, big titty goth girls, but also like that kind of like alt indie like fun flower girl thing too is like also a huge trope in like kids animations. And like I think even when kids like consume that, like I look back, I like rewatched an episode of Phineas and Ferb like a couple of weeks ago, and I was high off my ass while I was watching that. Sorry, Mom. High off my ass.
I think we're past the point.
Oh god, I don't even want to know what my mom is gonna think of this episode. Well, anyways.
Yeah, can we like go back in time and warn your mother just to, you know, sometimes you just need a pass.
Oh no, you know what? It's fine. My mom has been jump scared by all of these episodes anyways, so it's fine. I was watching Phineas and Ferb, and I was looking at like Isabella's character, and I remember growing up thinking that she was like very basic. You know, like I looked at her and I was like, oh, that's like a preppy, she's just like a preppy basic girl. But I look at her now and I'm like, that bitch has indie vibes for real. And she was down to clown always. Like Phineas would say the most out of pocket fucking shit, and Isabella would be like, yeah, sure, like let's fucking do it. Like that is not something a preppy basic girl would say. Like she would react like Candace and be like, what the fuck is going on? Like I'm going to call an authority figure on you. But like Isabella was cool. Like Isabella would smoke weed.
And Candace would call the cops.
Yes, and like Candace would call the cops
also
for smoking weed. Yeah.
Phineas and Ferb has Vanessa in it.
Oh my god, dude, yeah, I almost forgot about her.
More
Dude,
goth chicks.
Big titty goth girls, bro. Oh my god. No, she's great. But that also, I mean, I just referenced Dr. Doofenshmirtz though, but like, you know, like the way he treats Vanessa is like very good. You know, she's an alt girly, but it's not because her dad left her, you know? It's like an active aesthetic choice, which is great.
You know,
good
also,
for her.
Speaking of like, you're talking about villains who like kind of are good parents, like I was like, and I also thinking about like heroes who like weren't good parents, like Harry Potter. And I was like, also like, have you watched Legend of Korra?
Oh fuck yeah, dude.
Well, yeah, like Aang kind of turned out to be like a not great dad, and like it. I know a lot of people don't like that writing decision, but honestly, to me, it makes a lot of sense.
It does, because I genuinely do think that there is something to be said about, like, you grow up your whole life being called a good person, and you just kind of believe it by default. And so a lot of times, like when you are put in situations with people, you think whatever split-second decision that you make in the moment is going to be the right decision because you're a good person and you know what to do. Whereas like villains, if you grow up being called a bad kid, there's like one of two ways that it can go, right? And for the most part, I think both of them happen somewhat simultaneously. Like, okay, so you grow up your whole life being called a bad person, right? And when you're young, you believe that shit.
Yeah.
You believe it from the bottom of your heart, right? Because like whatever your parents tell you becomes gospel. So say you just grow up and your parents are just like, God, you're such an awful kid. Like, you never do anything right, blah, 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 whatever. So for one, you have to like actively convince yourself that you are a good person sometimes, right? You have to be able to discern for yourself what really is good and what really is bad and what has been conditioned in you to be thought of as bad that isn't actually bad. And that takes a lot of willpower and it takes a lot of thought and effort. And the other part of it is like kind of not giving a fuck that people think that you're a bad person. You have to actively shun the idea that like that is something that you should be ashamed of. And so I think villains do both of those things very well, but the thing that makes them more villainous, I guess, is that aspect of them where it's like, well, I don't really give a shit if you think I'm a bad person. Like what I'm doing, yes, it might be bad, but also like I've spent a lot of time thinking about this.
I think
like,
given that they go through like their arc, probably like I'm pretty sure like Zuko would probably actually Zuko's lineage is probably the least fucked up out of everyone in Korra. But also, if they didn't go through their arc, I'm not convinced. I doubt Azula is out here being a great mom.
Oh, yeah. I think there is definitely like a mental stability element of it that Azula is missing. But no, yeah. I don't know. I think if Shigo grew up and like, you know, got married to another hot woman and like they adopted a kid, that kid would grow up to be such a badass. You know what I mean?
For
like
real.
No, yeah, like fully agree. So 5% mom, 95% mommy. There better be more villains on this list that make me think. Okay, wonderful.
So I went through the two that I thought would be easy ones. So I'm going to go through the first one, which I think is going to be a little difficult. Okay.
Okay.
Your Forger from Spy Family.
Oh no!
Her character is literally designed to be the most difficult.
Oh man. Okay, wait. So first of all, peak character design. I don't know who came up with the black outfit and the gold headband with the flowers and like her bangs coming out the sides and the red lining and the thigh-high boots. I don't know who did that. I don't know what drugs they were on. I don't know what magazines they were looking at. But that's a fucking masterpiece. I'm sorry. It's great. It's perfect. There's no critiques whatsoever. She looks great. Okay, so this is going to be one of the ones where I am operating off of what I've seen in pop culture because I actually haven't seen Spy X Family yet.
That's fine. I'm pretty sure yeah.
It's one of the animes on my list, but I haven't gotten around to watching that one yet because I was busy catching up on
Jujutsu Kaisen.
Jujutsu Kaisen, but also there was another one. Oh god, I can't remember the name of it now, but do you know the anime where like there's a zombie apocalypse and the guy's like, fuck yeah, I get a day off work.
Zom 100?
Yes.
That shit's good.
Yes, Zom 100. Yeah, I've been watching that. That was good. That was like a fun one. I like that a lot. I just also finished Alice in Borderland, and Zom 100 reminds me a lot of Alice in Borderland. If I really like media, I feel like the next couple of months after that, I just spend a lot of time trying to pick something that is similar to it. So I'm like, oh, it makes it feel like the story is still going. But anyways, Your Forger. Is it Your Forger or Forger?
Forger, I think.
Forger. Okay. I feel like this is a solid 50-50 split. Like, which is rare, which is very rare. But I think she embodies both of these aspects very, very well. She's kind of the quintessential like mom versus mommy. Like there's like an element of her that's like very sexy and mysterious and like not a lot of people know about it. But then there's also like the part of her that's like a little bit, goofy, wears stockings, wears knee length skirts. Like yeah, that's a good solid 50-50 split.
Okay. They did the character design well.
Yes, very well. Dude, no, but she looks great. She looks wonderful. Like
which Jimmy?
I'm staring at the black dress right now. I probably should. I'm sorry. You know that audio that's like your constant objectification of the female gender makes me sick. It's an audio clip from Adventure Time. That's me. I just be looking at women, dude. Anyways, continue.
All right.
Stop.
Well, speaking about the
exposing
objectification
myself.
of women.
Oh God. Okay.
Well, here on our own canon, or equal opportunity, I don't just objectify women. We also objectify men here.
Oh my God.
And now I've played my hand.
No.
This is all inclusive, Yeji.
Wait, I love that. Okay. I feel like the dad is more mommy, or the dad is more mom than mommy. I feel like
for audio listeners, this is Lloyd Forger from Spy Family.
Yes, but he is his mom. Like he's a wonderful father. Like from what I know, from what I've seen online about this man, he loves his daughter. And he loves his wife. So, like, 10 out of 10 mom, 10 out of 10 mother, for sure. But also, like, him in a suit with the hair slicked back, also 10 out of 10, like, mommy vibes, dude. Dude, something about a man in a suit holding a gun. You do realize, okay, I was talking about this with my friend earlier. A man in a suit with a gun is peak character design. Okay. And that is marketable as shit. And do you want to know the solid fucking proof of that?
Spy Family.
John Wick.
John Wick.
John Wick movies have no plot. They are 100% vibes, 100% Keanu Reeves wearing a suit and holding a gun. That's why people watch the John Wick movies, is to see Keanu Reeves wearing a suit and holding a gun, and like this,
it
just proves my point.
To update my wardrobe to only suits and guns.
You should get like a little, those like bags that are shaped like other objects. You should get like a gun bag.
But the gun doesn't go in the bag.
No.
It's just a gun bag, but it's not a gun bag.
It's just a gun bag. You don't actually carry. You're just carrying a gun bag. I don't know, that's cute. No, let's see. I'm gonna give this guy a solid... Let's give him like a 62 mother, and then 38 mommy.
That's probably how math works.
That's probably how math works. Somebody should probably double check that, but yeah.
Nah, it's fine.
He's such a cutie. Now I want to watch the anime. Now I'm probably going to watch the anime while I'm eating dinner tonight.
Accidentally got you hooked. Just on character designs alone.
I want to see Yor Forger wearing her black dress, and I want to see this guy in a suit with a gun.
All right.
I also love that his name is Lloyd. There's like, that's so funny to me. It's great.
What's wrong with Lloyd?
Peak character design. No, it's just every time I hear Lloyd, I think of that one other audio that's like Lloyd. Do you know that? It's like from a Lego movie or something. It's from a Lego movie where the guy's like Lloyd and he's like, "It's Lloyd, Dad. Lloyd. I named you. You ruined my life." Have you not seen that? Oh my God. Yeah, I love that audio. Lloyd is a funny name. Anyways, next.
All right, next we have from Game of Thrones, Daenerys Targaryen.
Oh my God. Oh no, dude, no.
I feel like this one might be a little difficult.
Dude, why did you put her so early in the fucking like PowerPoint? How are you gonna put the Mother of Dragons as your like fourth Fourth slide. It only gets harder from here, dude. What the fuck? This is fucked. I've been bamboozled. I don't like this. This is hard. This is difficult. This is
difficult.
okay.
Because on one hand, she will step on you.
I'm gonna put my thinking
Hard.
cap on now. Yeah,
On the other
this is
hand,
hard.
she is the mother of dragons, and I think she's actually pretty good when it comes to being a mother to
No,
dragons.
she was a really good mother. And this is also another thing too, right? Is that like in the Game of Thrones series, and particularly in the show, Daenerys is coded as like a villainous hero. She's like the hero that can be counted on to get shit done, and she's not afraid to get her hands dirty to like quote unquote do the right thing. Right? Like when she orders a bunch of people to set those slaves free, like in that city, you know?
Strong
so like
mother energy. I see.
Like very strong mother energy, but also like her ability to have that good balance between keeping like her, because she does that out of compassion, right? But it's also the lack of compassion that comes along with that is needed in order to do the dirty part of it, that is like a very well balanced between like the mom and mommy side, you know. The compassionate part is the mom side, the like willing to set people on fire and kill an entire town is very mommy, you know. um
You heard it here first, folks. Big mommy energy is
hard.
setting a town on fire.
It's setting a town on fire and killing a bunch of people. That's definitely mommy energy. I think. See, though, also, like, if you. Okay, if we're talking about, like, early Game of Thrones, like, season 1 through. How many seasons are there in Game of Thrones? Are there, like, 6?
Depends on who you ask.
Well, you are also right about that, but there's like 6 or 7. So it's like the first half Daenerys is more mommy than mother, which is ironic because she does spend the first half of Game of Thrones like raising her dragons, but I think her character arc into becoming not just Dany, right, but like Daenerys Targaryen is such an iconic, and like it's very powerful, and that story is very like there's a reason why she's such a compelling character, and there's a reason why so many people were pissed off at the fact that they fucked up the ending of her character.
Yeah.
And it's because the first half of Game of Thrones set her up to be what was kind of like the ultimate balance, right? Like, right, yeah, like the ultimate balance between being like this compassionate mother, right? Or like, you know, breaker of chains, right? Like freer of slaves, you know, but also the mother of dragons, right? Like this, that's like her mommy aspect, right? Is like being the mother of dragons. Like this just pure fucking badass who's like hot and rides on the back of a giant flying lizard. Like 10 out of 10 mommy energy. So I'd say, yeah, the first half of it is.
So are you saying like her mother of dragons aspect is the most mommy thing about her?
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
It's not
Because
confusing
I'd
people
say,
any further.
but like, yeah, it is confusing, but it makes more sense that the Mother of Dragons aspect is her more mommy side, whereas like the compassion that she holds like physically for other people is like the part of her that is more nurturing and caring. If that makes sense, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like talking out of my ass here, but that's how I organize it in my head. So I'd say season 1 through 3, Dany is probably like 70% mommy, 30% mother. And then later, a bit like in the middle of the last half of the season, she does go more mother with her dragons too. Right? Like with like all the problems that Drogon was having, and then like she ends up losing 2 of her children, which kind of is like they kind of try to use that as like the setting off point into her villain arc, right? Is that she like loses one of her kids, which honestly makes sense, you know, checks out, but also like they could have written it so much better. But anyways, uh yeah, I would say definitely the back half of Game of Thrones she becomes more mommy, but then you also like take into account that like the burning of King's Landing, that's a pretty like villainous mommy thing to do.
Mhm.
It's a ruthless mommy thing to do. I don't know. That's
I really
hard.
threw you in for the loop here, huh?
No, yeah, this one's difficult. I don't like this one. This one's really hard.
Gotta lock in your answer. Just start playing Jeopardy music.
Oh god. Da, 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 da. Okay, so what did I say for the first one? I said like 70-30. I'll bring the mommy ratio up by 10. Let's go like 40-60.
Okay.
But that one scene where she's burning King's Landing, that's 100%
Okay, so we
mommy.
have started with dichotomies, went to ratios, and now have added conditionals. This is why I love doing things with you, because you're always gonna throw me in for a loop. I didn't know which loop you were throwing me for. I just knew you were gonna throw me for one.
Statistics. Yeah, no.
No.
Stats. I have the stats. I don't know. I wonder how you would answer this question, but on a ratio scale of mom to mommy, where does fucking your cousin like land?
I mean,
Like, is that a familial thing to do, or is that just like
all right. So we're moving on now.
Wait, she's not they're not even cousins, are they? He's like her like
I haven't watched
grand
the show. I do not know.
he's like her grand nephew or some shit like that. Or
That
no,
probably
not
makes it
grand,
worse.
because it's her. Oh, it's her nephew. It's her nephew. Yeah, because it's her brother's son. Yeah, so it's her nephew.
That's probably
That's
worse.
yeah, I don't
It's
like
probably
that.
worse.
Yeah. Anyways, continue.
So you're saying that would be so never mind.
Moving on.
All right. I wanted to keep this to fictional characters, but
Okay.
the next one I just had to throw in specifically for you,
Oh
right?
god.
So get
Okay.
excited.
Oh god. Wait.
Jungkook.
Oh no, dude! This guy. Oh my god, he's gotten so out of pocket lately. Like before, I was like, ah, he's just going through a phase. But now I'm like, oh, this is like his personality. That's interesting. Like I am all for Korean stars breaking out of their shells and doing out of pocket
Mhm.
stuff, because I think if anyone has earned the opportunity to go out of pocket, it's K-pop stars. Like the amount of stringent like scheduling and the way they have to like micro tweeze their personality for like Korean media, like, and the way that he grew up in that, like he started in the entertainment industry when he was like 14. It does not surprise me that he's gone off the rails. I think there are a lot of people who are like, this is like way too much. Like he's doing so much and he's like feeding into, or he's like, I've like seen people complain about the fact that he's only catering to Western audiences now, but there's something about that that's very freeing to me. It's like a weird offshoot of the American dream where it's like, yes, like sheltered Korean boy popping off, getting tattoos and being sexy. Like fuck yeah, like I love that for him, you know? And like if
And
America
you
is
love
the
that for you.
place, I do love that for me. It's good food. It's good snacking. It's incredible. But like, you know what I mean? Like there is a part of me that's like, yo man, if America's the place where like you get to let loose and do that, and like you're catering quote unquote now to Western audiences because those are the people who are going to eat your food, like fucking do that, you know? You have earned it. You have earned the right to make the kind of music and the kind of content that you want to do. Like
Okay, so
Um,
since we have conditionals, let's have BTS Jungkook, and then Jungkook 7 coming to fuck you, Jungkook.
Okay, so like
Wait.
BTS.
For everyone who doesn't know, that doesn't really follow K-pop, there was a time, not too long ago, where Jungkook released a song called Seven, and in that song, in
I'll be
English,
fucking you right Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, it's great.
the
It's
way the
wonderful. It's
internet
just
lost their mind.
it's 24/7 fucking for that guy. That's what he says in that song. It's literally 24/7 365 sex.
All right, so
Sex.
we have our Jungkook eras.
Okay. BTS Jungkook is almost like so far removed from this character that he's created for himself that I'm like, because they are such different people, right? Because when he was in BTS, he was the maknae, which means that he's the youngest, right? He's the baby. Everybody knows that he debuted when he was really young, but he was also considered to be the most classically good looking out of all of the boys. They considered him to be like the golden maknae, right? Because he could like sing, he could rap, he could dance, he could do everything, and he was good looking. So
And
he
now
was
he's coming
kind
to fuck
of
you every day.
now he's coming to steal your wife, like. But I think they're. I think BTS Jungkook wanted to be mommy, but didn't know how.
mommy in training.
Like
Got
yes, actually yes, because they were like because people were calling him sexy when he was like 15, you know, and that changes the way that you look at yourself and also the way that you present yourself to other people, right? So like, and also BTS, their debut was interesting because they didn't debut the way that they're known now. Like they debuted as like a hip hop group. And so a lot of their songs were like really hard and they had like hard images, and like Jungkook was kind of supposed to be like this young bad boy who like skipped school and like would flirt with your girlfriend, right? But he's also like, I'm also like 16 and really young, right? And like
Old BTS feels like what like corporate people would think a bad boy is, and then this Jungkook feels like what an actual bad boy
like
is.
yeah. So like, you know, they marketed him as this hot guy, but he wasn't like really there yet because also he was just young, you know, and like you don't really know how to be sexy actually when you're young. Like you think you do, but you really don't. And then he grew up, lost his virginity, actually lost his virginity. And then this came out. So I would say like early BTS Jungkook was trying to be like mommy 65% and then like cutesy boy 35%. I think he was leaning more
We have
into
added
his...
a new category into this discussion. Cutesy boy
I think
has
he was
been added.
but you know, like the mother kind of like cutes like magnet aspect of, you know, like being able to like take care of your youngs and stuff. Like I get that. But it wasn't really that. Like he was trying to make it that, but it wasn't really. I would say it was flipped. Like people were trying to come off it, like people were categorizing him as sexy and calling him sexy, and he was coming off as sexy, but he wasn't really there. I'd say that the ratio was flipped in reality. Now, I would say this man is like 85% mommy. And is it 15%?
And
yeah, 15%
daddy.
And yeah. yes. But he's got it on lock now though. You know what I mean? Like he knows, he has a more solid understanding of who he is as a person. And that's what is sexy now. It's not this image that has been meticulously curated for him and an aesthetic that has been chosen for him by other people, or other people calling his cutesy stuff sexy because they want him to be sexy. It's like, no, he's sexy.
Yeah.
That's just who he is now.
He seems to actually be having a lot
Can
more fun
you
with
like
this.
not do this to me right now? Can you
Hi,
hear him?
Snowball. Snowball has strong opinions about Jungkook.
Okay, wonderful.
Strong
Yes, he
opinions.
does. So you can hear him.
Yes.
I can never tell like if you can. Yeah, but he's being Snowball. Stop. Come here. I don't even know where he is. Snowball. Oh my god, dude, chill.
Snowball,
I know
while
we're
you're
talking
here.
about. I know we're talking about your favorite boy like group, but it's fine. I know you love BTS. You want to say hi?
Hi, Snowball.
Aww.
Making his cameo. Hey, this is our guest for our anniversary episode. Snowball.
He is.
Hello.
Happy birthday. No, I'll say it. Oh, so now that you're in front of the mic, you don't want to say anything. So annoying. Anyways, yes. 85% mommy, 15% mom. Cause I feel like Jungkook, like, yeah, he's gonna fuck you real good, but also he probably knows how to do aftercare, right? Like, he'll take care of you afterwards, you know? He'll be nice.
85% mommy, 10% daddy, 5% mother.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a great sectioning off of the, yeah, that's wonderful. Yes. But also I do think that, like, speaking of like the distinction between mommy and daddy, I do think that Jungkook is one of those stars that gives more, like, interestingly enough, like his energy is like weirdly confidently feminine enough that, like, I don't have a problem calling him mommy, and I wouldn't like correct somebody if they were like, oh, Jungkook mommy. I'd be like, yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, I would call Jungkook mommy. I would also call him daddy, but I think it makes sense to also call him mommy. Like,
Yeah.
he's very confident in the way that he presents himself as both feminine and masculine, so I think that works.
I've always found it really interesting how much for like a society that like doesn't like queer people that much. I've always found it really interesting how much like music icons have queer masculinity in like traditionally. Right? Like think like Prince or like anyone from the rock and roll era. Like
Yeah, Queen.
Like, Queen, literally.
Yeah.
Like
Even the Beatles.
queer masculinity has been like a staple of like artistic culture forever. Which is kind of crazy that like in modern culture like not everyone's super on board with it, even though like many of these people would revere these classic artists. Like it's always fucking been here.
I think it's a matter of, so I don't know if you've seen the fangirl theory.
Okay, lay it down.
So the fangirl theory is basically that, like, whatever fangirls like that they used to get made fun of for liking eventually becomes mainstream and will become cool and will be even considered to be revered as like not mainstream. Like, it's so cool that it's not mainstream anymore. Like, when the Beatles were around,
Yeah.
it was like One Direction and BTS.
Mhm.
And people like girls got shamed for liking the Beatles because the Beatles were gay, because the Beatles are like they're for the fan girls. Like, they're a boy band for the girls. Like, they make music for girls. And now look at the Beatles. Like, indie boys who are obsessed with the 80s like are like, the Beatles are so like, they make such like artistic wonderful music that's like that changed music forever. Like, people revere the Beatles as if, you know,
Yeah.
they weren't mainstream, you know what I mean?
And I'm
when,
quite sure
like,
K-pop, like given when we are this when the next generation is this age, we'll probably look at like,
well, we're already there. Well, we're
That is
already
true,
there.
yeah.
Like K-pop is mainstream now, and there are stars like John Cena who's considered very masculine, right? Like, he is, I would say, considered like an American masculine icon. It's like him, Chris Hemsworth, maybe Robert Downey Jr. a little bit for like the nerdy boys. You know what I mean? But there are like there are manly men out there that listen to BTS and they own that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, So I think, yeah, like the fangirl theory I think is true in some ways. It's like the things that are considered to be like, oh, so girly pop because it's kind of like too feminine to be liked at the time eventually just becomes what is cool. Like Taylor Swift.
Hmm.
Like Taylor's like I remember people used to get made fun of for liking Taylor Swift, especially like kind of in the earlier 2000s
Yeah.
when liking artists that were a little bit more dark and grungy was cool. Like Taylor
Definitely
Swift was
around her like
considered
Reputation
so
and Lover era, I think people's respect for Taylor Swift dipped a bit.
yeah, but also like when she was a country music star,
Yeah.
you know, like when she was putting out like 22 and Shake It Off, like people were like, "Oh my god, Taylor Swift is like so fucking basic. Like fucking everybody likes her," you know? And now that she's literally gaining worldwide recognition and making more money than small countries, um like people respect her now. And it's the same with this, I think. Yeah, but that was a whole fucking tangent. But it's a good tangent, but it was a tangent.
I knew throwing Jungkook on here would start something.
He's so hot though. Like that's a great picture. You picked a good fucking picture. I think I posted that picture on my story when
Guess
it like
guess how I
first
figured
posted.
out to pick this picture, Deji.
Okay, wonderful, great, yeah, okay. I'm
You-
predictable.
you
Got
did-
it.
no, you-
Fucking hell.
I'm not saying you're predictable. I'm saying you did this for yourself.
Okay, well, you know what? Fine. Fine. Next.
All right. The last one was for you. This one is for me.
Oh, wonderful.
Goal from Monstrous.
Oh!
now,
Dude.
let me give you some context, okay?
She's hot.
This is the first page she appears on, okay? In the previous page, the
Dude.
queen of a country is having a conversation with her lover, and then she says, fuck, and then gets murdered by this chick. She commits regicide in her entrance.
Dude, I love that.
Right?
That's mommy for real, dude.
Right?
Wait, she's so hot. That's a great shot of her. I know I've realized that like there are people that are only listening to the audio that do not know what I'm talking about, but like that's a great shot of her. Like
It's
whoever drew that was on some shit. Whoever drew that needed to touch grass.
And
Like they abstained from touching grass so that they could fully like put all of their artistic energy into this.
This is my weekly pitch of pitching Monstrous. Everyone should read Monstrous. It's a great book. It's got mommies in it. She's also not the only mommy in there.
Oh? Oh? Wait, so what would you classify her as?
100% mommy.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay.
So
she is a villain. She's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
villain
yeah.
that literally has no redeeming qualities.
Oh,
there
damn
is
it.
no mother
Well,
in her.
fuck.
She will
Unfortunate.
She will actually fuck you up and the whole country at the same time.
The exception does not prove the rule, I suppose. But she's hot. No, she's killing it. She's doing so good. Also, that is one hell of an outfit to wear to kill a
Commit
monarch.
regicide, for real.
Yeah, no.
She can do it in style.
She showed up and showed out for real.
All right. The next one, I'm pretty sure you don't know this one, but I want to just
Okay.
have your reaction on the piece of art itself. Okay.
Okay.
This one is
I'm
Raiden
nervous.
Shogun from Genshin Impact.
Oh, she's fine, dude. Is she pulling a sword out of her titties? You know me so well, dog. You know this is what I came here for. Dude. That's so funny. Wait. No, she actually is pulling a sword out of her titties.
Yeah.
That's great. That's wonderful. Dude, I like knew what Genshin Impact was, but I didn't really know what it was. And then I had a conversation with somebody about Genshin Impact the other day, and the way that she described it was it's like Pokemon, but instead of Pokemon, you get like hot anime people. And I was like, fuck, I want to play that game. That sounds incredible. That sounds like so much fun. I don't actually know if that's an accurate or apt description of Genshin Impact because I've never played the game, but if that's what it's like, I absolutely want to play it. And if she's a Pokemon that I can catch, bro, like, sign me up, dude. But also, she has kindness in her eyes. Like,
Oh no,
she's
man.
sh
She looks like she's 100% ready to step on me.
well, like, yes, she looks like she's ready to step on you, but also, like, she would be sweet about it. There's like, okay, yeah. So we were doing like, now we're really getting into the nitty gritty of this, right?
Okay,
Like,
okay.
there's a version of mommy that'll step on you and be like, eat my shit, right? And then there's a mommy that'll step on you and be like, oh, sweetheart. And she looks like she would tell me like sweetheart as she's killing me, you know? I don't know.
I need a
Like
word for each one of those.
the girl that you showed me before, the girl from Monstrous, looks like she would say like, "Oh, like eat my shit, like fuck you, and then kill me," right? But like in a sexy way. This woman, she looks like like she's purple, like it's nice and mellow. I don't know, like getting killed by her would feel like soft jazz.
That's the
I
most.
just
That's the most descriptive thing I've heard all night.
I also just can't believe she's pulling a sword out of her tits. Like, what is her power? Like,
I don't know. Haven't played the game, but I just keep thinking someone.
you pulled this shit out of where then? Like, wait, you haven't played the game either?
Someone showed me this, and I was literally like, "Wait, this needs to go on our episode."
I love that you saw this and you were like, you know who needs to see this?
Yeji.
Yeji.
Bro, the amount of willpower that stops me from sending it to you immediately is
Oh my God.
unrivaled.
That's so funny. I appreciate you so much because that was kind of the best reveal ever. I want to go back and listen to the disbelief in my voice when I'm like, damn, she's fine. Is she pulling a sword out of her boobs? Oh my God.
Legendary our own canon
This
moments.
this is a comedy channel. I don't care what anybody says. I love that. Wait, what's her name?
I think it's Raiden Shogun.
Raiden Shogun.
Yeah, apparently
Cool.
she's like some sort of like goddess in the world or whatever.
That makes sense. Are there any League of Legends characters in this?
Are there? I don't
Bro,
think so.
there are so many League of Legends, like the whole Arcane show, like all the female characters in Arcane. That's a whole essay.
We will do an episode on this.
That would take me like 10 hours to get through. To go through all of those characters? Yeah.
If I would have known, I should have put it on there.
Oh no, you're good. We have to talk about Arcane at some point, dude.
We do.
It's a good fucking show.
The show's good. I also want to talk about League of Legends as like a cultural phenomenon among Asian
Oh,
Americans.
dude, yeah, no, that
It's just
shit is
very
crazy.
fascinating.
I know, I love it. I love it. Like Faker and like teams and stuff. That's yeah, no, and also like KDA
Mhm.
and like the way that Riot puts out music. Like they just released a song with fucking New Jeans.
They did.
Like that's crazy. Okay, that's fucking crazy. Anyways, continue.
All right, the next one is in our own canon favorite.
Oh my god. Oh my
Julian
god.
from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Mama! Okay, but Michelle Yeoh is my mother.
Okay,
Michelle Yeoh is my biological mother. I came out of that woman. I don't care what anybody says. I do not care. I share genetics with that lady. She's my mom. End of discussion. I love her. I love her like my mother. She's wonderful. She just seems like a wonderful lady.
She
you know what I
genuinely
mean?
does.
Doesn't she seem like just like you want to like sit down and have a cup of tea with her? She seems like such a wonderful lady.
Also, Michelle Yeoh has played some of the most compelling and interesting literal mothers in like
Oh yeah.
quite a couple movies.
In ever, dude. Yes, wonderful. This specific character, however,
So I got a question about this specific character.
yeah.
The other female character, damn, I forgot her name.
I forgot her name too. The special one.
Yes.
The
thinks of Julian as a sister.
yeah.
So how does that factor into this discussion?
I don't know. I wouldn't say cuz I mean even in the movie though she's more of like a mentor figure if anything.
Mm-hmm.
So and also she's a badass but there is an element of her that is just so quintessentially mother in a badass way. It's not mommy in a badass way, it's mother in a badass way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like
She is a badass mother. I think you're right.
she is like she doesn't really give mommy energy the way that in the way that I think I've seen other characters like her, like in these styles of movies, right? Where like there's that badass female character that's very good at like fighting. It's her whole thing, and she's also a mentor figure. Like there are definitely better examples of those characters that I would say are mommy. Um I cannot unfortunately think of one right off the top of my head at the moment, but this character does seem more mother than mommy. She's very like calm and collected.
She's spitting wisdom throughout.
Yes,
Or at least trying her
always.
best to.
Yeah, she's very perceptive. She is compassionate. There is the compassionate element in it. She is actively kind, and she's like an unquestionable protagonist. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like never at any point in the film is she like is the morality of her actions like called into question. You
Which
know?
is really ironic considering her whole character arc is not settling down and
Yeah.
having the family that she wanted.
Yeah. But I think that is like good in a way
That's
too.
extra
You
points
know?
for that's extra mother points, if anything.
Yes, extra mother points. I would say this one is a solid 85% badass mommy, 15% mommy.
Mommy
Cause
or
she
mother?
just mommy,
Mommy?
badass mother, and then mommy.
Okay.
But
80,
she
80.
looks hot in this too. So like, yeah,
I don't I think Yeji
like
thinks all women are hot,
those
frankly.
silks, those silks are working for you, madam. I would kneel for you.
All right, next one from Attack on Titan.
I genuinely have no idea what's gonna come up.
From Attack on Titan,
Oh no!
Aaron
Oh
Yeager.
no! No! Bro, you chose the best fucking picture for this
Let's be honest here. Attack on Titan has such bad female characters that the best mother slash mommy in the show is Aaron Yeager. Fight me.
Okay, but I was talking about this with my friend earlier because this finale just fucking dropped. Dude, Mikasa's character is so disappointing. Like, I'm so sorry. I read the manga. I finished the manga, like, right
Hmm.
when the end of the manga dropped. Like, I finished it, I think, what was that, like last year? To couple years ago, maybe? I don't know. Um, but no, yeah, they did her so dirty. And, like, I don't even know what Mikasa is. She's like neither mother nor mommy. She just has no characterization
she's
other than Eren.
she's like a cardboard cutout.
Yeah.
She cannot be a mother or mom. She's literally
And
just cardboard cutout.
she exists for him. And so it's like, okay, in reference to Eren, I would say that Mikasa is more mother than a mommy. But like on her own, there she doesn't have her own like story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the deepest her characterization really goes in terms of like her story before him is that like she lived with her mom and her dad and like they lived in like a nice little house and then she watched her parents get murdered in front of her and then Aaron came in and then
And
like
then Aaron murders some
even that
people.
story, even that arc is like baked into making Aaron more of a character
Mhm.
than she is, you
Yeah,
know?
because it becomes Aaron's like like backstory after she gets kidnapped, right? And then
Yeah.
yeah,
Um
literally in the same little arc. Now I got a
I
question
would
for you.
say
How much do the war crimes contribute to this
Oh.
to your ratio?
Oh, the war crimes are absolutely going to factor into this. Okay, so this is complicated, right? Because just based purely on looks,
Hmm.
like 100% mommy, right? Like this man has washboard abs, he's hot, he has like the baggy eye thing going, emerald greens, you know,
And he knows how to
like
put on a coat.
long hair, knows how to put on a jacket in style, great sense of fashion, right? Um, like just looks wise, wonderful. And then I like factor into the fact that like he's kind of also a whiny bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Like Aaron is a sub.
Mm-hmm. I think something that people don't understand about Aaron Yeager is that Aaron Yeager is a weak man.
Yeah.
He is
Yes.
he is incapable of actually making any genuine like complicated decisions and just lets his
Yeah.
anger like take him. He is actually a weak man.
He's very he's like I have no better way to describe it other than he's just a whiny little bitch. Like mommies and mothers, I think a big like part of their characterization and the way that I kind of think of them, like a mother would make me kneel,
Okay.
right? In a like a parently way, you know, like sit the fuck down. Like
Uh-huh.
I'm your mother, I'm speaking now, like sit
Uh-huh.
down. Mommies would make me kneel, just, you know, like they'd be like kneel and I'd be like, "Okay, I would do anything for you." I wouldn't do shit for Aaron Yeager. I would laugh in his face. I'd be like, "You asked me to do what? That's so funny." Like, "Oh my god.
It's
You're
very
giving me instructions, dude. That's fucking crazy."
Aaron
Like,
Yeager is
nice
really
try.
Aaron Yeager is really one of those things where it's like, good thing you're pretty.
Oh no, yeah. Like, okay, like this scene where he's putting on a jacket, I'm like, yeah, daddy. But like his actual character, no. Like his actual character, like he's just a little bitch. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's reductive. Maybe I'm not thinking about it hard enough, but there's that like really great scene. Spoilers for Attack on Titan, by the way. If you haven't seen it or read the manga, skip over this. But there's that really great scene where he's like doing the time jump Titan thing with Armin,
Mhm.
and Armin like slaps him or something, and they're talking about Mikasa, and he's like, I don't want to see Mikasa with any other man. Like, I would rather die than like see her with somebody else. Like, even the thought of it just makes me sick.
Mhm.
And I remember reading about how in that one, like when Hajime Isayama was like drawing that and writing those speech bubbles, he was like, ah, Aaron is back. And I think that's a really great way of putting like who he really is on the inside. You know,
Mhm.
he's just a kid. Like he never got a chance to grow up. He doesn't really know or really understand emotional complexity. He's not a mature person. He doesn't know how to deal with loss or grief or anger or happiness even in constructive ways. So he just self-destructs, and he self-destructed and he brought the rest of the world with him.
Mhm.
Like that's the whole point of the story in
Yeah.
terms of like Aaron's character arc, right? Like that's not the point of Attack on Titan's story as a whole, but if you want to look at Aaron Yeager as a character, like he is a selfish and, exactly as you said, very weak man who does not know how to not be a little bitch, unfortunately. So that's what he chooses to do with that.
Yeah.
So,
I know a lot of people didn't like. I haven't watched the anime ending yet, but I know a lot of people didn't like the
yeah.
manga ending. I don't know if they changed anything, but I actually do like the manga ending for the fact that like
Uh-huh.
it it reaffirms the fact that he's a little bitch. Actually,
Yeah.
like if he
Yeah.
actually ended still like having this like air of like cool that like the manga makes it very that's one of the things that's really complicated about the character is that like he commits war crime
Yeah.
but he looks really good while doing it. And I think if the manga didn't end the way it did, it would make it really uncomfortable. It would make it feel really uncomfortable that the manga likes where this war crime Aaron is going. But by breaking him
Yeah.
down to be the little bitch that he actually is,
Yes.
it's in character for him. I don't think it's out of character. I think it's
And it
always been there.
makes more sense.
Hmm.
I think a lot of people were like truly baffled by the fact that like Aaron did the rumbling, you know, and like all of the, I mean, there are quite literally like 100 plot points in between like Aaron getting the Titan powers and like the rumbling happening. Like there's so much that happens in between that like it's hard to attribute things to things, right? You could say that his villain arc started in one point and then make an argument that it actually started at another point, and then you could make the exact same argument for like a dozen different scenes or a dozen different like parts of the story where things happen to him, you know? It's a dense plot and there's so much that just happens that it's like there are stories that are based around the plot and there are stories that are based around the characters, and a lot of times when a story is based around a character, the story will mold itself to mold the character. There are things that will happen in the story that are like, oh, this is specifically because this is a character driven story, and so things are happening in the plot to drive the characters forward. And in many ways Attack on Titan is that, but there are also a lot of things in Attack on Titan that happen that have nothing to do with Eren. And so there are a lot of plot points that are happening on the side where you're just kind of like, how does this feed into the fact that like the rumbling is going to happen? And then you could also make the argument that like it is a character driven story because he is the main character, and then all of those plot points are actually driving him forward. And that's just like, it's so complicated and convoluted that nobody's ever going to get to the bottom of that argument. And so I think it's exactly right with what you said, that like
try on our own canon
Oh.
episode, because it's probably
Yes,
going
we
to get a
will.
dedicated one.
Yes, we will. We will. We probably will. And I think it's a fascinating, like, it's a fascinating thing to talk about, right? Because there's so many different elements to it. But I will say, I do think that Hajime Isayama bringing Eren back to his roots, bring him right back down into being the little kid who doesn't understand why there are walls, and who wants to go see the ocean, and like realizes that there's so much that he doesn't know, and how scared that makes him, and how scared he is of the world when all he wants to do really is exist in a place where like things make sense, but things don't make sense because the world is fucking absurd. Like, I think it's so smart that Hajime did that. Like, I think it's so smart that Isayama brought it back to, oh, he's just a fucking idiot. Like, he's just a kid. He's just a kid. And we're all just kids. We're all just traumatized fucking babies. And every choice that we make leads back to the fact that, like, there's, like, a traumatized child in all of our brains. You know what I mean? And Eren just had way too much power with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, yeah, so... I don't think he's mother or mommy. I think visually, mommy, 100%. Character design, flawless. They did a wonderful job making him a handsome, handsome man.
I bet you,
Character-wise,
I feel
though,
like Isayama had way too much fun drawing that panel.
oh, he loves...
I feel like he put more effort into that than anything in his manga.
Eren is Isayama's baby. Like, he made that boy pretty as fuck. For, like, I don't know. I just think that's funny. Okay. I think it's funny. I find joy in that.
I think I got my ratio. 0% mommy, 0% mother, 50% child, 50% war criminal.
Okay, wonderful. I think mine is just 100% little bitch.
I'll agree with that one. All right, so for the next three are from Full Metal Alchemist. Okay.
Oh, wonderful.
Let's start a little easy. From
My
Full Metal
favorite
Alchemist
story.
Lust.
Oh, dude. Okay. You know, again, there are some characters that I'm like, villain. Would be a good parent. Fuck that. Absolutely not. No, I would not let this woman 2 inches near a child. Never. Are you kidding me? No.
He's not allowed within.
She is not allowed next to the children. No. On top of also being a war criminal. Like, we were just talking about war criminals. Like, Lust is a fucking war criminal. Yeah, no, I think Lust is like 100% mommy. Like, there is...
The rare 100% mommy?
But she's what the academics would call a pure villain. she exists just to be bad. There
Mm-hmm.
isn't really a part of her that's supposed to be compelling. She's not one of the seven deadly sin characters that's written to be a character study into that seven deadly sin.
She is here.
Because I think that, so like Envy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the character Envy in FMA is supposed to be a character study on Envy. It's supposed to be like his character, they're actually, yes. I think Envy is a gender neutral character, actually. I think that makes
I
a
think
lot
so
of sense.
too. Yeah.
I think Envy is one of my favorite characters in FMA. Just by virtue of how complicated he is. I love that they do have pure villains, but they also have villains that have these whack ass, like, and in many ways, Envy is a pure villain because they're just bad, but also, like, they
Mm-hmm.
just want to be loved.
Yeah.
And they don't really know how to make that happen because it's, like, not in an envious, like, love and envy do not coexist.
Mm-hmm.
They can't. Like, you can't technically really love something that you're envious of. Like, not truly. You know, you can think that you love something that you're envious of, but envy is a very, very strong thing
Mm-hmm.
that does overshadow love. And there's that one really great, oh, is it like Aristophanes? It's one of the fucking Greek philosophers that said that, like, envy is the sin that brings no joy because, like, lust and gluttony and greed, like, those are all, like, fun, kind of, you know, like pride, wrath, like, all of those have some kind of, like, catharsis that come along with them that allow this sin to be in some way a pleasurable thing.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly lust. I think that it was a good thing that they made lust such a simple character because lust is simple.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've ever been horny, but it makes people dumb as fuck. Like, you look at somebody's collarbone and it's like you snorted a line of cocaine. Like, it makes you so stupid. Like, and there's no reason for it.
You look at
It's
a
just-
woman pull a sword out of her chest, and
you're
it's
just like,
over.
damn, I would let that woman kill me. Like, no, don't do that. Don't let people murder you. But it just makes you stupid, and it's very simple. I think it's very, like, lust is a one-way street, and it ends in one place, really, right? So yeah, I would say lust being a simple character and being of a simple origin, and she does what she does very well, and
She's here to fuck shit up, look good, and make
yep.
and make and also, like, low key, like, her dying is like her utility into the story is not just in, like, her, it's also in her death making what's his face looks
Roy Mustang
look
good.
so cool.
Yep. No, it's a one-way street, bro. I don't know, I like her. I think it's a simple 100% mommy, and not in a way that's reductive. Not in a way that's like, oh, yeah, just like 100% mommy. It's like, no, it's like 100% mommy, but that was done with intention. Like, she was written like that. And it's very clever.
Fullmetal Alchemist is so good. All right.
Oh my
next.
god, I could talk about FMA for fucking years.
Well, don't worry, we got some more time with it.
Yeah.
Character number 2 from Fullmetal Alchemist. Armstrong, but the hot one.
Oh my god. She could walk me around on a leash for the rest of my life, and I would be fine with it. I would be so okay with it. Oh my god.
You know, one of my favorite things about Armstrong is that, like,
Olivier, I love you.
we get introduced to the male, what's his name, younger brother
Louis.
Armstrong, Louis
Louis?
Armstrong, and
Yeah.
he, like, comes in and sees, like, the super, like, jacked, ripped dude, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, he's kind of, like, set up to be, like, the really strong one of the family, and
Yeah.
then we get introduced to his sister, And he's like Loki kind of scared of her
Yeah,
because like
he's a little
yeah,
bitch compared to his sister. It's
it should
great.
be.
It's so good. It's so fucking wonderful.
It's so iconic.
It's so good. She's just a badass. Like there's like I don't know, like I love the fact that she is also visually traditionally very feminine.
Hmm.
There is something about like there's nothing wrong obviously with like badass female characters that look like present very like masculine, but I think that's like
But feminine women can be strong too.
yeah, and that's also like the basic way of doing a badass woman is
Hmm.
like kind of making her manly and like in a lot of ways I think it's a writing cop out um because a lot of like white cis men that don't really know how to write strong female characters will just write a male character and then like put a vagina on it. Whereas like with Olivier Armstrong, that's a woman with a capital W and she was written from scratch start to finish to like be a woman. And you know that because she has a brother. Right? Like, if they wanted to make Louis Armstrong the strong one, if they wanted to make him the badass, they would have done that. And he is.
Mm.
He's a badass in his own right. Absolutely. He's one of the, like, he is one of the stronger state certified alchemists, and, like, people rely on him. You know? He's like, buff, burly. He carries his own weight, and in the final fight, like, he does a lot. Like, he does genuinely carry his
Yeah.
own weight, you know? But like that's how you know that Olivier was written to be her own character and she was written to be a woman is because they already had a male Armstrong and like if they really wanted to they could have just like smushed those two characters together, right? But they didn't. Like
I think
she has her own purpose and she was written with intention and I fucking love that.
I think the depth of the characters in FMA, the complexity of the characters, really like shows that this manga was written by a woman.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like
I think one of the reasons why FMA continues to be a classic for so long is because it manages to pull all the great stuff that I think a lot of female writers are a lot more in touch with
yeah.
about like complexities in characters and combine it
Mhm.
with the more male written like shonen stuff and combine it into something that really gets to have the best of both worlds that you can
Yes.
only really do if you really like know how to be in touch with your characters that
Yes.
not all shonen really manage to hit all the time.
Yes. And there's just something so effortlessly timeless about this story. Like it's never going to go out of vogue.
Hmm.
Like there's always going to be something in Full Metal Alchemist that is applicable to like what is going on in the world right now. Like the war that's going on right now that everybody is simultaneously talking about and not talking about. Like
Wars
ethnic
plural.
cleansing.
Yeah.
That's a thing that's happening. Like this story just yeah, no, it just applies. And the characters obviously are part of that. Like Olivier Armstrong is a woman who knows what she's doing, has a great head on her shoulders and knows it too, and has absolutely no problem like presenting herself as a badass. And there is also something very weirdly aggressively compassionate about the way that she deals with her brother and the way that she deals with Ed and Al and like her ability to host them in the north to uphold like Fort Briggs and like what's considered to be the most like impenetrable part of the country like she is in charge of, you
Hmm.
know? Um it's really funny. I talk about overly sarcastic productions a lot, but I really love the way that Red describes Olivier Armstrong, and it's like she says something along the lines of like Fort Briggs is the place for the manliest of men, and there was no manlier man than Olivier Armstrong. Like, but it's true. Like she's almost like perfectly feminine and masculine, and also Yeah, I don't know. I think like in the way that your Forger is like 50-50 mommy mom based on like her visuals and kind of the way that she was written. I think Olivier Armstrong is 50-50 mother mommy, but in the way that like her character is just perfectly written, so everything is just in like pure balance. You know?
I want to watch Fullmetal Alchemist again. Some of the best character writing.
S tier writing for sure.
It actually might be one of the best pieces of fiction, period.
Ever written?
Ever.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All
I would
right.
agree with that.
We
100%.
still got one more Fullmetal Alchemist character.
Oh
I
God.
think this one
Okay,
should be easy
wait.
for you.
I wonder who it's gonna be.
Who do you think it's gonna be?
I don't know. If you pull up Winry, like you know what I'm gonna say.
That's too
But I
easy.
feel like it's
That's
I feel like
too
it's not
easy.
gonna be Winry. That's why.
I got
Is
you.
it gonna be Al?
No, it's Mace Hughes.
I'm gonna fucking cry. Dude, that's
The
such
most
a good
mother man I know.
Oh my god, dude, no, this guy is mother for real. You know how I said I came out of Michelle Yeoh? I think Maze Hughes gave birth to me too. Loki. He pushed me out with vigor, bro. Like no, yeah, this is ooh, I love this. I love that you picked him. Oh my god.
Honestly,
No, this is a man who
when I was
is-
picking these characters, I started with Mace Hughes first and worked backwards for the other two characters.
I fucking love that. But this is a wonderful way to end the FMA character set because this is a man that is 100% mommy and mom, and you don't see that very often. Like, he's mother.
Mm-hmm.
He's a parental figure not just to his actual daughter, but to like every other character that he ever comes across. Like Ed, Al, Roy Mustang. He is though. Like he is in many ways like the only familial character we ever see Roy Mustang with besides Riza. And Riza is like very clearly supposed to be, you know, his other half. She's not supposed to be somebody who's like taking care of him. At least not in that way, you know, like she does take care of him. She watches his back, but it's not in like a motherly way. No, yeah, this guy's just 100% mother in the best way. And like he loves his daughter, right? Loves her to death. Great husband. Great friend. I don't know. I don't think you could ask for a better mother. Like, he's great. He's perfect, actually. He's wonderful. Don't change anything. He's
Debatably
perfect.
the most mother character on this list.
He really is,
He's a
though.
man.
I don't know. I don't think there are any other mother actual characters that, like, measure up to Mace Hughes as mother. Whatever you're doing as a mother, you're falling short of the standard that Mace Hughes has set.
I don't know. I feel like mothers who like spoilers live are doing a little better than him, but you know, that's just me.
You did not just say that, dude. That was fucking aggressive as fuck,
I felt
bro.
bad about that as I said it.
Dude, Hobie is already dead. You did not have to roast him to hell again.
I felt bad
also,
as I said it.
That was pretty fucking funny. That's a good joke. Too
Alright.
Soon, but it's a good joke.
Okay, I took you on a ride. We're gonna go
You
easy for the
did.
next one.
That was a good ride.
From Chainsaw Man, Makima.
Oh no. Okay. This one's complicated.
Can I throw
This
a
one is
spoiler warning for
complicated.
Chainsaw Man before we get into this one?
Yes, you can put a chainsaw man.
Spoiler warning, guys. Skip like I don't know. We might talk for this for a while. I don't know. Scroll up ahead. Look for the characters. This one might be a while.
Yeah, this one might take a little while. Okay, so Makima is. Ooh, this is so fascinating. Ooh, because she's like mother in a mommy way. You know what I mean?
Fujimoto has an amazing way of bringing out the attractiveness of mature business class woman.
And it's great. It's
It's
wonderful.
such an interestingly specific skill that he has.
But okay, because here's the thing, right? I think Makima's character design is fascinating.
Hmm.
Like, this picture in particular that you pulled up is like, if you asked me, right? Like, if you pulled this picture up and you didn't give me context for Chainsaw Man at all, and I didn't know anything about the characters, and you asked me how old this woman was supposed to be, I could not tell you. Like, she's
Yeah.
dressed like a business class woman, but she has her hair in a braid and she has bangs. Like,
Hmm.
she could be a high school student. That could be a high school uniform. I don't know. She also could be like in her 30s. Like, and I think that's really great too, because in a way it's almost like trusting your audience with their own imagination, but also putting like a bit of your own. Like, I think she is designed to look young, but she doesn't act young.
Hmm.
And she's not supposed to be young.
Yeah.
Like, there are characters that are designed to look older, but they're young. There are characters designed that are older, but then are designed to like look older than they actually are. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but Makima is like this weird thing where it's almost like her entire character is up to your imagination, because we don't know anything about her until like the second to last.
I
Like,
think that's something I love so much about Chainsaw Man. It refuses to give you answers.
oh yeah, no. And like, even after we kind of figure out like what she's supposed to be, you still don't really
Yeah.
fucking know. And so it's this really fascinating thing where like even the stuff that she says outright, you kind of have to like imagine where it's coming from in your own head, and you have to imagine what kind of person would say something like that. But again, because we have absolutely no basis for her character, it's almost like anything that comes out of her mouth at any given point could be mommy or could be mother, but we just don't fucking know anything about her. So it's like you can pick whatever you want her to be.
Hmm.
She's she's like this blank slate fantasy. And which makes sense, right? Because
Hmm.
Denji is a simple man. He has simple needs. He has simple wants. So it kind of makes sense that in a way, like, she doesn't really have a characterization outside of like being an object of desire. But also it is a story where you're trying to figure out like who the fuck she is.
I think that that's the fascinating thing that I love about her character. She is like in every respect designed to be an object of desire, but that
Yeah.
is the literal thing that is going to fuck you up by the time. This is why the spoilers here. That is the thing that's going to fuck you up by the end of the series,
Yeah.
right? Like it
Yes.
is her ability. Like I don't know. I just find that so fascinating, especially for a shonen, right?
Yeah.
The fact that it like very literally plays on like audience expectations and it knows what the audience wants and is so willing to just like say that shit's gonna get you fucked up if you
Yeah.
do not seriously control the horny.
Yeah.
Makima will destroy you.
Yeah. I think it's also really interesting the way to think about this almost from like just like if we think about this also from a social commentary perspective, I think it is really fascinating because it's like if you look at women just as objects, you're missing
Hmm. Because it's
whatever the fuck it is they're actually
because,
doing.
yeah, because like her character, it's all there.
Yeah.
If you're actually not even paying attention, if you're just like surface level noticing,
Yeah.
you are going to know that this lady is not good news, right?
No.
But like both in the way that she is used as a character as Denji and used as a character for the audience,
Yeah.
right, kind of moves you in the direction of like really wanting to just kind of like, I can't be that bad, right?
Yeah.
And
And then
she
it
like,
turns out it's like the worst thing that it could
yeah.
have possibly been. Yeah, I like that a lot. And I think that you mentioning that like you're looking at all of this stuff and you're like, "Oh, she's bad news." But like how bad could it possibly be? And then it's like,
Exactly.
"Oh fuck, it's the worst fucking possibility." Like of all the variables this character could have been, it was the worst fucking thing. Like and yeah, no, I just for in like as I was saying before, just from a meta commentary perspective, I think it's really interesting that like she is, by all intents and purposes, meant to be just this
Mhm.
object of desire, and then it's like, oh, if you weren't paying attention, like you just got burned. Because that's the other thing too, though, right? Is that like a lot of people did go into Chainsaw Man thinking that it was going to be a happy-go-lucky shonen because it's
Mhm.
presented that way from from the very beginning, right? It's supposed to be this like story about this boy and his dog, and then his dog dies and then becomes a part of him, and then he gets to turn into a sick chainsaw. Like,
Yeah.
it's a shonen. Like, it's a
Uh-huh.
fucking shonen for sure, right? And so you look at a character like Makima and you're like, oh, I've seen shonen before. Like,
Mhm.
I know this, like, yeah, she's like a bad girl, but it's like not gonna be that bad because, like it's a shonen, it's happy go lucky for the most part. And then like you get to the fucking reveal and it's like, oh my fucking god, like it's so horrible.
I think that's like the great thing about Chainsaw Man is that like for men who like for young men who like grow up like kind of by society objectifying women, right?
Yeah.
Chainsaw Man is a very strong like slap in the face like I actually maybe don't do that because
Yeah.
like so many of like the
Yeah.
genuinely like attractively drawn characters in Chainsaw Man you
Yeah.
wouldn't actually want to date
No.
I think that's the great thing about Makima. Denji's relationship to power is really interesting in the way that like he finds out over time that he actually just wants to have a platonic relationship with like a woman that he's like has physical attractions to, right?
Yeah.
We could probably get into this on a Chainsaw Man episode, but like Denji growing up and redefining his relationship with women, I think is a really great piece of art that is valuable for young men.
Oh yeah. Like that part where they're like laying down together and he's
Mm-hmm.
just like, I actually don't really feel horny right now.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Chainsaw Man,
It's
great.
great. It's really great. I think I'm going to give Makima a fucked up percentage because she's a fucked up character. I'm gonna say she's 100% mommy and 100% mother.
And 100% will murder you.
And 100% fucking war criminal. Like, dude, it's not even war crimes. It's like she fucked with like every character on like a metaphysical, physical, emotional, and psychological level. Like, how is it even possible, dude? With their past, present, and their future too. Not just like whatever was happening in the present. Like with Aki, are you fucking kidding me?
That's not
Dude,
okay
no.
what she did to Aki.
No, it's not.
Not
No,
okay.
no,
Not
no,
okay.
no. I'm never getting over that. That's like the most
It's
fucked
not
up.
okay of what she did to the entire main cast of the manga. What the fuck? Who does that?
No, literally. I don't know. I thought main characters were safe from some things, but then Makima was like, "Oh, you thought main characters were safe from some things," and then did everything.
Fujimoto, man.
Yeah, no. I
All
need to
right.
read his other stuff. I've heard he's a really, really great author.
He is such an author that wears his emotions on. Man, I'm gonna keep it short because because we probably should move on. But he's such an author that like wears his emotions on his sleeve so well and so great at depicting what he feels in like such complicated, interesting ways. All of his works dive into some very deep feeling, and I think that's why it's so interesting and so good.
I love that.
Okay,
Nice.
next one.
But yeah. Yeah.
We're diving into the MCU.
Oh, great.
So this is your area of expertise, right? Wanda
All right,
Maximoff.
yes. Oh god. Okay. Well, first of all, they just fucked her up. Like Of all the ways they could have written the Scarlet Witch. I don't like Wanda Maximoff. I wish I did. I don't, though, because she's a shittily written character. And I don't hate her because I don't hate her character. I think the Scarlet Witch did the best with what the MCU gave her, which was not a lot. But I can't say that I like her despite the shitty writing. Like, the shitty writing is all I can pay attention to, unfortunately, with this character, and it's really upsetting because there were so many cool things they could have done, and then they were just like, well, we're gonna introduce her in Age of Ultron, and she's gonna be kind of like this bratty goth girl teenager who has powers that are obviously like way over and out of her control. She's kind of an asshole about it because, you know, we can't write female characters being goth and kind of edgy without making them dickheads. And then in Civil War, we're going to have her throw a bomb into a building. For no fucking reason. Dude, I love, like, there will not be enough words to describe how stupid I think the plot of Civil War is, but it's got to be the dumbest fucking thing. That in the scene where they're breaking into the lab, right, Wanda takes all the poison gas and she puts it up into the sky, and she's able to, like, funnel all of the gas up and out, and then she takes a bomb and she throws it directly into a building. I'm like, shorty, you had the sky. And you did it 5 minutes ago. Like, shitty fucking writing, shitty direction, shitty plot device thing that they were just like, oh, how do we, like, make conflict happen? It's like, that wasn't even necessary to do. Like, I think it's interesting that they made that and they, like, tied it into the Sokovia Accords where they're like, oh, this is the last straw, and, like, kind of bringing in Black Panther with that because it was, like, a country adjacent to their country, or, like, somebody died in the explosion that was from Wakanda, and so they, like, brought him in. Like, I think that kind of makes sense from a plot perspective, but it's like, the Avengers had done war crimes. Like, before Wanda had thrown a bomb into a building, like, that did not need to happen whatsoever. It just made people hate Wanda. And then, like, later in Civil War, when she, like, puts Vision through a building, right? And while he's literally saying, like, if you do this, people will not stop being scared of you. And she's like, no, fuck that. I want to be rebellious, and, like, puts him through a building. And I'm like, well, you know, more shitty writing. Great. Wonderful. Let's not listen to logic.
Wanda had such a disjointed, like, character arc.
It's not her fault. Yeah. Like, it's literally not her fault. Like, I think everything wrong with Scarlet Witch is the fact that she, like, just shitty planning, shitty writing. And I think the part where they were, like, kind of getting it right was WandaVision, and I was, like, so excited to see where they were gonna go with that. And then they put out this fuck-ass Doctor Strange movie that was just so stupid. Like, what even was that movie? That movie was a fever dream. I'm still upset about that. I'm still upset that they took the first Doctor Strange, which by all intents and purposes was a masterpiece. Fucking, oh my god. Fucking, the fact that they had fucking Mads Mikkelsen be the villain in that, and he was fantastic. And then they had, oh my god, why am I blanking on her name? Tilda Swinton as also, like, kind of the villain, but also not, and she's a great mentor figure in that. Like, introducing Wong. Like, the first Doctor Strange movie is so good, and it transcends the other MCU stuff that had come out, like, before or after it. And I'm just so upset that the second Doctor Strange movie was just stupid. Like, everything that happened in it, I was just like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, you're gonna bring in that character now. Why? Okay, now all of those characters that you just brought in and introduced are dead. Great. Fucking wonderful. What's the point of that? What is the purpose? Like, it was so stupid. Like, forgive me if I'm overreacting. I just thought it was so dumb. And like after they had already kind of been fucking like the MCU had already kind of been falling off like
Uh-huh.
up until that point, and I think everybody was really hype for Doctor Strange because they were like, oh, like this will be the movie that's gonna, like bring it back up to where it was. And because the first one was so fucking good, I think everybody assumed that the second one was gonna be good, but the second one was just stupid. And then they killed off Wanda
Hmm.
for no fucking reason. For the dumbest movie I've seen in so long, they killed off one of the characters that had the most potential. And I really hope they're gonna pull some kind of Loki where like they bring her back, maybe in like some part 2 of WandaVision where like I don't know, maybe some part of her subconscious still exists and like she creates a universe and then like manages to recreate her physical body or some shit like that. Like if they can figure out how to bring Loki back from the dead, then they can figure out how to bring the Scarlet fucking Witch back from the dead. But it's like, oh my god, and the Scarlet Witch has so much rich history too because she's not even like she wasn't originally a Marvel superhero. Like she was like originally I think a character that like Sony had originally had, the same way that Sony like owns Spider-Man and like the X-Men, and she was part of the X-Men. Like the Scarlet Witch
Yeah, she's
is
an
a
X-Men.
character in the X-Men like series, and so is Quicksilver. But then like they don't really go into that part of it at all. And then also like in the X-Men movies that have come out recently, there's like
They split
it's
custody.
just like it's just fucking
Wanda and
weird.
Pietro.
Yeah, it's just fucking weird
Yeah, I
and
feel
like
like
it confusing, and I don't know. Like I don't really know where to put Wanda in terms of characterization because her characterization is bad because the writing is bad. I don't really know where to put her like visually because I think Elizabeth Olsen does a really good job at acting, but I do think that like a lot of the character costumes that she shows up in are like very brief, and also she's not a good mother. Like unfortunately, like I wish she was cuz then maybe like that would be a compelling part of her character that we could rely on to like do a little bit more digging into the kind of person she's supposed to be, but she's like not a good mother. As we see in WandaVision, she wasn't a really good lover either. Like
I
her
find it.
relationship
Yeah,
with Vision is really interesting, and again, not very well written, so it's there isn't much to go off
her
of in
relationship
terms
with
of
Vision literally feels like they did it in the comics, so we gotta do it in the movies.
and like
Because like the movie before, she was chunking Vision like into the ground,
yeah. And
and
like
then they show up
but
the next
then
movie and they're in a
but the,
relationship.
yeah, and then they're like in love, like in so much love, and it's just like
I
I get it, like I understand, and also you're using this to build up the emotional like payoff to when she has to kill Vision to get
mhm.
to destroy the stone. Like I understand why you're doing this, but we haven't seen any of this. And also like the last time that we were supposed to see Wanda, she was quote unquote still a kid.
Mhm.
Like that's what Captain America says like in Civil War, like when he's fighting with Tony. So I'm assuming she's like at that point in time, like when Civil War is happening, she's probably like 20, 21, max 23. And then she's like been living slash dating Vision for like about a year, I think, after Civil War happened.
Mhm.
But then also, like, in Civil War, they were trying to make it seem like there was romantic potential there because of that, like, one fucking cooking scene or some shit where they're, like, talking about paprika. And it's just like,
No.
okay. And I don't know. I don't, I again, it's kind of like, yeah, it's exactly like you said. Like, they dated in the comics, so, like, they have to date here. But it's just, it wasn't a compelling romance for me until I saw WandaVision.
Mhm. I feel like Wanda as a character is like she has so many different ways that they could have taken her, and they showed a little bit of it in each of her appearances, but never really committed to any of them, right? Like teenage Wanda with
Yeah.
way too much power is very fascinating.
Yeah.
Wanda, who accidentally killed a bunch of people and feels really guilty about it and trying to figure that out. Very interesting. Wanda
Yeah.
as a mother going through grief. Wanda having to kill her lover. Very interesting character, right? Wanda having to deal with like recreating her kids and then losing them. Like all
Yeah.
of these could be a good character, but they lack like any setup or payoff at any point. If it was like, and like that's the thing that's crazy to me is that like how did they not like they planned this shit out like especially WandaVision to Doctor Strange 2. I think Doctor Strange 2 could have made a lot more sense if they just ended WandaVision on a villain note. Right? It would be
Yeah.
100% less jarring. And like the show and the movie aren't that far apart time like real world
Oh,
time-wise.
no, it's not.
You could have
Like they
figured that out.
mention, but they mention the stuff that happens in One Division, like in the like in the beginning of the Doctor Strange movie, where they're like walking through the orchard and stuff. Like
Like yeah,
it's recent.
how did they not iron out this like thing? Like it could have worked so much better, but they didn't.
It's just a mess. I, uh,
So not mom,
I
not mommy,
think
100% bad character.
I think, yeah, no, I would say, like, if I had more to go on and if I had a more solid characterization to go off of, I would have more to say. But anytime
More to
anybody
say.
brings up,
You
but
spent like the whole
okay,
like 10 minutes
spent
having
a
things to say.
solid ass amount of time. I don't know. I think that if we're going purely off visuals, I like this picture that you picked because I think this is her best costume. Like this
Hmm.
is how I want to remember the Scarlet Witch in my brain. Um I would say that picture in particular is like 80% mommy, 20% mother. Cuz like there is a aspect of the way that Elizabeth Olsen just looks that I'm just like, yes, you are menacing, but also like
You could give me a hug
you're
too.
not. Yeah, like you're menacing, but you're also not. And I think that was another thing that was kind of jarring about like I hate to say this because I do love Elizabeth Olsen and I think she's a wonderful actress, but I don't
Hmm.
think they casted Wanda right.
Mm.
I think they needed to pick somebody who either looked really, really good or looked really, really evil. And Elizabeth Olsen just kind of looks plain.
I think she made sense when their direction for Wanda was the teenage girl with too much power.
Yes. Yes.
And then not committing to that, I actually do think like,
Hurt them.
yeah.
But in the way that, like, Scarlett Johansson and the way that she acts as Black Widow and the way that she's like the way she was designed as Black Widow, like she looks like a person with secrets and she doesn't really
Hmm.
look like a good person. But with Elizabeth Olsen, it's just
Sorry,
kind of like,
Scarlett.
well, like, yes, sorry, Scarlett, but like she looks like a person who has history.
Mhm.
And Scarlett Johansson is also a good enough actress and she has enough critical acclaim and enough like background where she can kind of put that out in a way that's not just like on her face and the way that her character is designed. Again, I think Elizabeth Olsen is a great actress, but I don't think she has that acclaim. I don't think she has that Scarlett Johansson level of like,
Mhm.
let me show you my character without saying any words.
Mhm.
And I think if the writing was better, maybe it would have been easier for her to do that. I don't know. I just think that like there's so much cognitive dissonance with this character that it's just hard to attribute anything with her. The
Okay.
picture's good though. Costume design for this one was a 10 out of 10. She looks great there. She looks wonderful, but yeah.
All right.
Sorry, that was a lot of rage built up about the MCU just coming out in one fell swoop there.
I did not
apologize.
expect that. That came out of nowhere for me.
But I don't know. Yeah, we haven't talked about the MCU in a while, so
All right.
that's how what I felt about the new Doctor Strange movie, if anybody was wondering. Fuck that film. So stupid.
All right. So moving out of the MCU,
Okay.
I'm going to put forth what I argue is the most mommy character in all of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh, okay.
Satoru Gojo.
Ah,
I know there's a
mama!
lot of great female characters in Jujutsu Kaisen,
No,
but
he's
come on.
princess.
Look at those eyes.
He's baby girl, dude. He is. Like, look at him. Oh my god. I just want to give him princess treatment, bro. He deserves it. I don't know if I mean, he is mommy in the way that, like, you know,
Uh-huh.
like
Uh-huh.
he's a little like, you know, he's mommy in the way that like hyper feminine girls are mommy. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. There's something so like, okay. It's weird to think about it in this way because, like, obviously he is a man,
Mhm.
but Gojo feels like a very gender neutral character to me
In a
because
lot of ways, I kind
they're
of agree.
like,
Hmm.
but do you know what I mean? Like, he's very motherly in the way that he like takes care of his kids, and he feels very strongly and is like very convicted about like his children's opinions. Like that scene where he's asking Megumi, like, is this a personal request? And Megumi's like, yes, this is a personal request. And he's like, well, if it's a personal request, right? Like a mother would do for her kids. Like, you know what I mean? It's very mom, you know?
It's also like really late in his character design, like Gege giving him the baby blue eyes like that. It's just like
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know
no.
how to express it in
And
words.
like the super long eyelashes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. There's something very
He
yeah, no. He makes men and women act up for no reason. Like peak character design for sure. I also like the fact that he's not super buff. I know that that's like supposed to change. I've seen that like one manga panel of him like kind of bulky, which I do like. I think that he looks good like that too, but I like the fact that he's kind of lanky and skinny.
Mhm.
Cuz I think it also feeds into the fact that like he hasn't ever had to lift a weight in his life. Like he's
Yeah.
so hyper powered that like why would you need to do physical labor at that point, you know? Um Oh, this is hard though in terms of mommy versus mom because I feel like he is in many ways he does a very good job at both of them.
Okay, so
This
we,
is
we,
gonna
we
be
talked
a
about like his relationship to his like his surrogate children as an argument for
yes to
mother.
his surrogate.
But
Ah,
let's look at
that's
his
so funny.
but let's look at his relationship to his lover, Ghetto.
Ah, yes.
To figure out the other half.
Okay, so I
Satoru Gojo and Ghetto are gay. If you disagree with
oh
me, watch and listen to the opening of season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen and tell me I'm wrong. Read the
they're
lyrics,
in
guys.
love.
Read the
They're in love.
lyrics.
They're in love. They're in love. And they were best friends. And they're in love. No, yeah, it's perfect. It's wonderful. The second season of Jujutsu Kaisen is
Has the best openings, hands down.
has the best
It has the
openings,
best pair of
hands
openings.
fucking down. It's
I,
so good.
I don't think I've seen an anime with a pair of openings as good as Jujutsu Kaisen. Like I've seen some where like one opening is really good, but the other one's all right. Jujutsu Kaisen, both of them are perfect.
Okay, but like all four of them so far have been good too, though.
I think season ones were okay. I think they were good, but like they
I really liked.
they don't excite me in the way that season 2 does. Like season
Okay,
2
yeah.
is just
Season 2 is exceptional. Like the
exceptionally
season
good.
2 is wonderful. But season 1's two openings, I liked them. I liked the second one of season 1.
I think they're both good.
Like the electric guitar on that one is just it gets me hype every time. Like I really like that. But anyways, okay, yeah, with his lovers. Let's see. Okay, here's a question for you that I'm curious about. Do you think Gojo is a like? Do you think he's a submissive or do you think he's dom? Do you think he's sub or a dom? See, though this question changed. Like the answer to this is very important because I feel like every person I've asked gives me a different answer.
Between him and Geto, I feel like he's the sub.
That's fair. Okay, take Geto out of the equation.
I feel like for everyone else, Gojo would step on them, but I feel like he has a special place in. I feel like there's a special place in his heart for Geto that he would like Geto step on. Step on him, okay?
There's only one man in the world that I would
Exactly.
let step on me.
Exactly.
That's how you know they're lovers, though.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Geto brings something out in Gojo that no one else does.
That's true. I agree with that. That's hard for me though, because there is such like maybe it is the baby blue eyes. Maybe there's just something about that where I'm just like, oh baby girl, like let me take care of you. Oh man. Okay, so I do think his mother side is stronger because I think that's more of a focal point of his character is like taking care of his students. So let's put the mother aspect at 77.
77. Solid 77.
Solid 77. And then
23.
from there we go like 20% mommy, and then the leftover is baby, and that small percentage is just for Geto. Just for Geto.
All right. So staying within Jujutsu Kaisen,
Oh, wonderful.
Toji.
Oh, oh,
Toji.
dude, not that
Toji.
picture, dog. Why that picture? What? There's so many other pictures of Toji that you could have picked, and you chose the one where he's grabbing his invisible dick. Like,
Gege has such a way with drawing covers for Jujutsu Kaisen.
oh my
don't understand
god, dude, he looks so good in that. That's a great picture of him. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 character design,
All
honestly,
the Jujutsu
though.
Kaisen covers are great.
Okay, here's the thing, though. Do you know any other character that could pull off having, like, an ugly-ass worm wrapped around them?
Exactly!
Like, no. Toji is the only one who could pull that off.
For audio listeners, we are looking at the cover of Volume 8 of Jujutsu Kaisen. Just do that real quick and you'll see what we're talking about.
He looks so good at that. And
don't know how he does it.
The lighting is so good. Like, that's sexy lighting. I never thought that like slime green could be a sexy lighting aesthetic, but it is.
I was talking. I messaged Yeji the other day, and I was like, Yeji, I need you to explain something to me. Why has the internet gone feral over Toji? This man.
Why?
No.
Why not?
This man literally will try to kill all your favorite characters. Right?
yeah.
Has literally murdered a child.
Yeah.
Right? And if you met him in real life, would try to murder you, probably.
Yeah.
He, for all intents and purposes, is an awful guy. I don't understand. But
and I would let him. Like,
Choji is like such a testament to like such strong character design and writing by the fact that like logically no one should ever like this guy.
yes.
But it's
everybody
impossible not
loves
to
him.
like him. Exactly.
Yes. I think the character design for that is a big part of it. I think that like people just can't get over the fact that he's hot. Like there is a part of that that's definitely rooted in that. But I do think too, like I think Jujutsu Kaisen, yeah.
I do think Choji single-handedly is going to make tight t-shirts and baggy pants go into style.
Yes.
Single-handedly.
Yes.
Single-handedly.
I love it. No, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
No, you were good. I think that like Jujutsu Kaisen in particular has a really interesting way of making its villains. Like Gege did a very, very good job at making all of his villains very compelling, both by character design and also by like they're
fascinating.
You just understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like with Sukuna.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you look at what he does and you're like, oh fuck. Like
Yeah.
fuck. This guy is crazy. Like he's fucking batshit insane. But he means business and you get it.
I think there's something in the confidence that all of Gege's villains have that's just really sexy. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
that too.
All of his villains, like, unshamefully do the things that, like, they want to do with confidence in a way that's just
Yeah.
like, okay, damn. Like you see it with uh with with Geto's character in
Yeah.
I don't know how far you are, and I'm not gonna try to spoil the manga, but like the brain dude in like Geto's head,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
fascinating. Toji, uh, the one that you just brought up, Sukuna, Mahito,
Uh-huh.
like
Uh-huh.
all of them have like a very strong confidence about like their evil shit that I think like really helps their characters in a way.
I think I think you're very right about that. And it's interesting because I was gonna say, like, while you were saying that, I was like, I wonder why that is. Like, why, what that confidence comes from, and like why we find that so compelling. And I was about to say that perhaps it's the confidence that we're used to seeing heroes have,
Possibly.
in that, like, in that almost naive way where they're like, I can do anything. But it's like these villains, not only do they think they can do everything, they
They
actually
actually
could.
can.
Um, and I do think it's interesting that we do have a hero character on the other side of Jujutsu Kaisen with Gojo, where like he is also cocky and
Mhm.
confident, and there is a very like sexy aspect to that. The only difference between him and the villains is that he has something to lose.
Yeah.
And that losing him on their side too, like he has something to lose, and he is also a loss. In that, like, if the villains are defeated, like, it's a win, right? But if Gojo's defeated, not only is it a loss for like the main characters that we know and love, it's like a loss for the world because he's the only one keeping all these batshit crazy people at bay. And so, yeah, I think like there's something interesting about like the villains having the confidence to do whatever they want in the same way a hero kind of should,
Mhm.
but the fact that heroes really can't because they have emotional stakes and things
Yeah.
and like actually care about the world.
I think you're definitely on to something. I
Yeah.
definitely think that's at least in the right direction.
Interesting. But Toji's hot. Also, this is a character that I don't think has any mommy energy. I think Toji is 100% daddy.
Great daddy.
He is a wonderful daddy, which is crazy because he's a shit father. Like the one father that we got in the actual anime. Like the one guy who actually has a child. Shit. Is he a daddy though?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Like that's so funny.
All right, before I go on him, just saying that last episode of Jujutsu Kaisen where Toji shows up, and yeah, you watch it, right?
Oh, I'm past the Shibuya arc in the manga.
Okay, good. Dude, the way
Yeah.
they animated him, like just like dude, the animators went fucking crazy.
He's
They had no
Mappa's
business going
favorite.
they had no business going
He
that
is
crazy.
Mappa's favorite. Like, you cannot change my mind. The animation up until that point, did you see the fight with Choso and Yuji?
Bro, they were saving
That
their
shit
budget.
was, yeah, that shit was underwhelming as fuck. And then you get to the part with Toji, and it's so
They
good.
just, oh
Like,
man.
they popped off with that shit, but also,
Such amazing animation.
like, Mother has a favorite. The
And
mother
Daddy,
has a
and it's
favorite.
Daddy.
Like, yes. It's great. I love it. But I think the same is true for the manga. Like every time I see Toji animated in, or not animated, but like drawn in the manga, I'm like, Gege had a good time with that one.
They get popping off way too hard. All right, next one, another X-Men character.
Alrighty.
I know my answer. Need to figure out yours.
Okay.
Storm from the X-Men.
Ooh, interesting. So I know Storm from like the kind of older X-Men like animated series. I can't remember the name of it now.
The movies or like the comics or
No,
what?
the like the animated X-Men
Oh
series,
yeah.
like the cartoon.
Uh-huh.
And in that, she's like, she's, ooh, I might be completely fucking up the lore on this one, but she's like the leader of a tribe, right?
I don't know for the show, but I know in the comics she's like considered a goddess
Yeah,
in
like,
Africa.
yeah. Like, she's like, there's like a tribe that she's like part of slash leads, and she's like, she uses her powers to like help them, and they kind of consider her to be a goddess slash the queen. Which I think all like queenly characters for the most part have like a very mother aspect to them. I think it takes a special kind of mama to like run a country. You know, like
Uh-huh.
it takes an aspect of like care, and it's very motherly, like in a pretty like badass cool way, right? Like being able to
Hmm.
do like politics and stuff, but also her powers are really fucking cool. Like being able to control the weather is like so sick. Like that's probably one of the like of the if you ask me like what power or superpower I would want to have or what powers I think are cool, like I think being able to control the weather is fucking sick. Um so for Storm, I will say I will give her a solid, her character design is also hot. Like she's got that same baby blue eye white hair thing going for her that Gojo has.
How to make an attractive character 101, baby blue eyes, white
Peak
hair.
character
Peak
design.
character design.
Peak character design. So I'll give her like a solid 45% mommy. What is 55? 55.
55.
55%.
You said mommy, so
45% mommy and then 55% mother.
okay. I'm on the train of 100% goddess. I
You're such a nerd. I hate
think
you.
she's just on a different level.
100% goddess? Okay, fine.
I'll
Yeah,
accept queen
100%
too
goddess
if you
too.
want to go that way. Okay,
I don't know, On. It's up to you. Whatever you think is right, queen or goddess.
we got two more. The next one, I don't know. I'm confused. Need you to help me figure this one out. From
Okay.
Howl from Howl's Moving Castle. I don't know
Oh
what the
my,
fuck he is.
that's a tricky one. I like that one a lot.
Right?
Dude, this is an S tier list. I just want to let you know how proud I am of you for putting this list together. This is a good fucking list. Okay, Howl. Okay, I have to allocate at least a little bit for him to the daddy
Okay.
because he does give daddy vibes. Like
Okay.
he's designed very feminine. He's got the baby blue eye thing going on that just fucking like I sorry, like baby girl, like, but there's something about the way that he handles like being with Sophie, and also
I have no idea, man.
there's just something like he is definitely feminine, but there's also something so perfectly masculine about him.
Hmm.
I have to allocate at least like 8% to daddy because he's killing it on that front. Like he really is. Let's see. Howl. Howl. So I think for a big part of the movie, he's in denial about his true nature and his relationship with Sophie, and like
Hmm.
the war and the conflict and everything that's going on and who he is. Um, which isn't very mother of him. I think if he had a better lock on himself
Uh-huh.
and knew more about himself and had a little bit more mind to consider others in spite of the fact that he didn't know who he was, I would give a little bit more percentage to mother,
Hmm.
because I think that's a motherly thing to do, is to like put aside your selfish nature to like take care of the people around you. And he does. Like he takes care of them in his own way, but it feels more it feels like it's for a more mommy reason than for a like a mother reason for some reason. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like fighting in the war and like kind of pushing Sophie away and like all of those things are very angsty and it almost yeah, I don't know. I feel like he is really more mommy than he is mother, which it is weird though because he has like that house and he has all the bits and pieces and it's his home.
I feel like this movie's so
It's so
interesting in the way that his
fascinating.
character is like designed to be one thing, but as we progress in the movie and we understand how better as a character, he is something else that
Yes.
I have not even completely figured out. It's such a good movie.
It's a really great film. Ooh, that's hard.
Just question
Because then,
marks.
but then also, because I don't want to attribute that just to being mommy too. Because I think that like kind of playful nature that he has to him, that like the part of him that was messing around with like the holograms and stuff and like got
Mm-hmm.
Sophie out of that weird situation like in the castle or whatever with the
Mm-hmm.
queen. Like I think that aspect of him is kind of mommy in like a playful way, he's like he kind of has like that confidence and a bit of like swagger to him that is attributed to like yeah, I'm like hot shit and I know it, which is very
He
mommy
does,
of
yeah.
him, but also like he's deeply insecure.
Yeah. Yeah. He manages to have so much character while not being the main character of his own movie. It's crazy.
Excuse me. Ooh, excuse me, sorry.
Kyle's really got Yeji dying out here.
Yeah, no. I've also been like sick for a little bit, so all that stuff is kind of getting out. Apologies for the crunchy coughs. Um, let's see. That's hard. It's weird because like Howell just kind of seems like a person. He doesn't.
This is the point where objectifying people falls apart.
Well, yeah, but like I don't know. Like okay, so thus far we've been examining characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I think with those characters that it's been easier to do because I am able to kind of look at them as characters in the sense that like with Wanda, I can look at her as a character not just from like a caricature perspective, but also from like a writing perspective where I look at her character writing and I'm like, "Oh, this doesn't make any sense," or "I don't
Mm-hmm.
like this particular choice that they made." With other characters, say for instance like Lust, where I was like, it makes sense that her character is one-dimensional because that has a purpose. With Howl and with a lot of other Studio Ghibli movies, the way that Miyazaki has captured life and living and people, it's almost like the further that you dig into any Ghibli film, it's like, oh no, these are just like human beings
Yeah.
with human being motivations, and their character configurations don't always make sense because people
They just
don't
don't
make
make sense.
sense.
Yeah.
And you're not really supposed to be able to figure them out the way that you can figure out characters in a story. You know?
Miyazaki is a very prolific and compelling director for a reason. And I
Oh,
think
he's
you
a
may have
fucking
hit
genius.
on at least a part of why.
He's genius for sure. But
Everyone
yeah,
go watch Miyazaki films. They're all good. He's coming out with another one. He
right
came out
now.
retirement for like the third time to do another one.
Yes. I also love that he keeps doing that because I just have this image in my brain of that one. Do you know the Miyazaki meme where it's like him and his glasses and he's going like this?
Uh-huh.
I like every time I think of him coming out of retirement, I just think of that meme and I'm like, he did the thing. That's what he did. That's what it looked like. That's what Hayao Miyazaki coming out of retirement looks like. It's just him with the glasses and like him pinching the bridge of his nose. It's great. I love it. Um, but what is that one called? It's like The Boy and the Gray Heron or something. The
Something
new one
about
that
a
just
boy
came
and a
out.
heron, I think. I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah,
it's out
yeah.
yet, but it's coming.
Yeah, the boy and the gray heron. But yeah, I think
Hal, 100%
yeah.
person.
Yeah, Hal is just a human.
All right.
Um
The last one.
yes, continue. Ooh,
Last
I'm
one.
scared. I'm so scared. All of these have been really
Elastigirl.
good. Oh God.
Hey, for
Why?
audio listeners,
Why?
it's that frame.
Why? Dude,
You know the one, guys.
she's
You know
my
the one.
she is my kryptonite, bro.
Dude, I find it so funny how like this frame lived in like the minds of an entire generation. It just lay dormant for like 20 years.
Until we hit puberty. Like until we all like came back collectively as a generation. We're like, we all remember that shit, right? Like we all remember that the same way, right? I don't care what your sexual orientation is, who you are, where you're from, how old you are, what background you are. That fucking shot is crazy, dog. It's fucking crazy. That's gonna make anybody act up. Yeah, no, that's a crazy shot. Good for them. Good for Pixar.
That in a kids movie.
It's great. It's so good. No criticisms whatsoever. I love it. Oh God, okay, so are we talking about just the first movie or are we gonna talk about the second one?
Do them both.
Okay. So I think Elastigirl in the first.
Do one for her character in both the movies, and then do one for this frame.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. That's perfect. Okay, so for the first movie, I think Elastigirl was a product of the time that she was written. When the first Incredibles movie came out. There's like that part at the very beginning where they're doing like the interview thing and she's like, leave all the saving to the men? I don't think so. I don't think so. Like, I get that. And I think like what they did with it was really cute. I think that her character like design is meant to be very like sexy mom, you know? Like she's not meant to have like and I think this is best framed by the way that you see like her figure compared to the Silver Lady Hair's figure. What's her name?
Yeah,
in
I
the
know who you're
first
talking
movie,
about.
like the sexy
Like
secretary lady with the silver hair, like that was the ideal like sexy woman figure like back then, right? Like super model slim, you know, like Elastigirl has birthing hips, you know, like she's had children, right? Like she's not meant to, you know, be model slim. Right. I think that choice was very good and like made a lot of sense. I think it is interesting that like the plot, I guess, of her character in the first one is that like she thinks her husband is cheating on her, so like she goes to the island where he's staying and then gets caught up in the plot. Which I think makes sense. And then we got that really great scene with like her and Edna being like, you are Elastigirl, like pull yourself together. Like I love that fucking scene. It's great. It's wonderful. But I don't know, she isn't really much of a character in the first one.
It's definitely Mr. Incredibles.
Yes, it's definitely it's definitely his film. He's supposed to be the main character of it. Second Incredibles movie, however, we are introduced to a completely different side of Miss Elastigirl. She is considered to be like the most well-rounded superhero basically of all time. Like when they're running when they go to like that rich guy's apartment and they had like run a report or whatever on like who would be the best superhero to like bring superheroes out of hiding, and they're like, Elastigirl has the best stats. Like we've run the numbers. I think that makes perfect fucking sense.
Yeah. 100%.
Like I think that makes absolute like Yes, and I think that the way that they make like Mr. Incredible kind of like, what? That doesn't make any sense though. Like she's not like flashy. She doesn't have like that star power. Like people don't really remember her name, type thing. But it's like, okay, yeah, but like the numbers speak for themselves, like not every save has to be about like muscles and doing the most, like
Mhm.
sometimes it is just about how many people you can save. And with Elastigirl, that's what she cares about too. Like it's not just even a virtual signaling thing where she's like, I'm doing this because I want to save people. It's just like, what is the most practical thing to do right now? Okay, here's how I'm going to stop this train. I'm going to take XYZ steps. Okay, the train is saved and everybody is still alive. Like,
Mhm.
girl math at its finest. And she is a good mother. Like we see that in the first one, obviously more in the first one because her kind of whole thing is like being a housewife in the first one, but even in the second one where she like checks up on her kids and she has open, kind of dialogue with them about what's going on. Or actually no, she like keeps it a secret from them, I think. But she's having like open dialogue with her husband and she's making sure that he's taking care of the kids. Um And it was really interesting also to see the way that they like put meta commentary in there of like moms who work while like
Yeah.
husbands stay at home. I fucking loved that. I love that. It was so good. Um
It really did feel like there was a large gap between the first and the second movie, and I really do feel like a lot of the culture changes between those two bleed into that,
oh
a
yeah.
lot.
But it was so good because it's also like seamless
Mm-hmm.
because like the second movie starts where the other one left off,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like you can clearly tell which one is a product of which time.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's so good. Um the writing for both films is also just really fantastic. Like,
It's a fascinating set of movies, honestly.
oh no, it's really good. The premise of it is really good. Like The Incredibles is where shit like The Boys came out.
Mm-hmm.
Like what would it be like for superheroes in the real world, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
The Incredibles like set the blueprint for all of the slightly like grimy superhero stories that like were kind of coming. I don't know. I respect it a lot. I could see a lot of the Incredibles influence on other things, other superhero media, if you will. I'm gonna give Elastigirl a 70. Scratch that. I'm gonna give her a 68 for Mother, and then a
32?
32 for Mommy. I think really the only super mommy thing about her is that like she's sexy.
Is this one
But
scene?
she's yeah. And she rides a motorbike and she's like hot. Like yeah, but I think she's extremely practical. I think she's logic forward. I think she gets the job fucking done. And I think she does that. Like there are characters that do that are like, oh, like I'm gonna do all of this stuff and I'm gonna look sexy while doing it. It's like Elastigirl doesn't even care about being sexy. She just is sexy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what makes it more mother than mommy. But there is a mommy element to it. I just think the ratio for mother is like much higher. So yeah. We God, there's so much content here. We should do one on the Incredibles. Like
All right.
also for this slide only, for this picture only, 200% mommy.
Yeah.
She looks so good in that, dude. Like
I just find it so hilarious how like this just laid dormant an entire generation, and it just took a couple of years for it to come out. The
this is
funniest
why
shit.
like this is why the Kardashians are famous, dude. It's because they're like there's something so satisfying about like being built like that, bro. It's just something in our like little monkey brains where we're like, ooh.
All right, we survived. We survived
I
this journey.
survived. I survived. That was a fucking roller coaster of emotions.
I thought it would be a lot shorter than it was. We talked for like 2.5 hours.
We did a good job going into all of the stuff, though. We usually do a good job of going into all the stuff, but Like, the
We
devil's
got-
in the details.
We got surprisingly more academic in certain spots than I thought we would.
Hey, this is a highly academic podcast.
It's educational, guys. It's educational.
This is highly educational. But yeah, thank you for putting that together. That was actually so much fun. I feel like I need to do one for you now.
All right, I think that's a good place to leave off.
Yeah.
We will see
cool.
you guys next time with. I don't even know what we're doing next time. You guys will find out when we do.
Yes. Also, happy first birthday to our own canon.
Look at you, our own canon. You're so grown up now.
You're so cute.
This podcast was produced by Yeji.
It was created and written by both of us.
It was edited by me.
The cover art was done by my good friend Emma Nebecker.
And the background art for the videos were done by my good friend Penelope Moreno.